Hello there, my name is Tom and welcome to my YouTube channel where we talk all things trading, finances and money in general. Now, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell so that you're notified when I make a new upload. Now, this video is not going to be like all other videos, mostly on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and what's going on with Bitcoin. I really wanted to jump in, and a lot of you asked me on Twitter, and by the way, follow me on Twitter and follow the verified account, and also on Instagram and in the Telegram channel, and there is a link down in the description to my free Telegram channel so that you're always updated and alerted when the market is on the move, so join that for free as well. And a lot of you said that you really want me to do a video on Tesla, you know, for a change, that, you know, to get away from Bitcoin for at least one video and talk about Tesla. So Tesla is one of those stocks that has an exponential growth potential, and that's something that I really want to talk about in this video. So we're going to talk about the fundamentals as well as the technicals, my personal view, how I'm going to be getting into Tesla, because I am going to be getting into Tesla right now and I already started getting into it. And this is something that I think you guys in growth will find extremely useful. And just remember, this is not financial advice. This is for just my personal view. So if you're going to be putting your own capital at risk, make sure to do your own analysis. So now, let's quickly take a look at the fundamentals of Tesla, just overall ratios and all the simple stuff that usually investors are looking for when they're looking to invest long-term in a company. And there certainly has been a lot of controversial data when it comes to Tesla and what's going on with it, and different readings that are not really very good for long-term investors. And by the way, I do own a very cool long-term investment service, which is called bestinvesting.tips, where I employ a few analysts who are analyzing the market, preparing company reports, building portfolios, sending in market updates on relevant stocks and the news, so picking relevant stock market news and updating the portfolio, and basically managing the portfolio in an institutional way in a live setting. So also a link down in the description to that service, which is very useful if you're building a long-term portfolio. Now, even my analysts said about Tesla that in terms of the fundamentals, it doesn't really look that very good. However, I really want to cover everything that I personally think about it, because Tesla, in my personal opinion, is like no other stock, and is one of those stocks that you have to look at fundamentals and technicals in an ever so slightly different way and have a simple, ever so slightly different approach. So let's take a look at all the general stuff that we have here, and the most important stuff that I wanted to show you is, well, number one, as always, the valuation. So the valuation is something that, you know, the fair value versus the current price, to identify whether the company is overvalued or undervalued. And so a lot of value investors are going to be looking at these ratings here. So as we can see, the fair value is around $500, but some say that it's even less, at about $300 to $400, and then there is the current price of about $800. So definitely when it comes to fundamentals and the general fundamental analysis, then the company is certainly overvalued, and it certainly is something that is quite bad. But stick around till the end, because I'm going to tell you exactly what you should be paying attention to, which actually I think is going to override the overall general traditional valuations. So the next thing, of course, we have to take a look at the price to earnings ratio, so the PE versus industry and the PE versus market. And certainly Tesla has a poor value based on the PE ratio, as well as, basically, and also the PEG ratio. But is it really that important? And we're going to get into that shortly. And also the price to book ratio is not good, so it basically says that Tesla is overvalued. Now let's move on to what's actually quite interesting, and this is the forecast of the Tesla's growth in the next 1 to 3 years, and this one is looking pretty good, and this is very important. This is something we're going to talk about shortly. So now the next thing is the analysis of the future growth forecasts, and everything checks out in terms of that, but I don't really think that this is very very important right now, this 2.2 part right here. Now let's take a look at the earnings per share growth forecast. It's forecasted to grow, but again, we'll talk about this shortly. Now let's take a look at this graph right here. I think that this one is far more important than anything in this fundamental analysis as of right now. As we can see, starting with 2020, Tesla, again, it has a continuous growth in revenue, but for the most part, it has been losing money for many, many years. And I mean, thumbs up to Elon Musk, who has been, going through all of this hurdle. And finally, just in 2020, just think about it, just in 2020, finally is going into profit. And this is very important because right now the revenue is skyrocketing and it will continue going up, and the profits will also go up. So this is something that only in the last year, so imagine that Tesla got to $1,200 and something per share based on negative income, negative earnings. And this is incredible. And now, so what's going to happen when Tesla is going to become extremely profitable, and it will. So, and this is what we are starting to see here, which is simply amazing. So past earnings growth analysis, I mean, this is very important to take a look at right here, which is Tesla beats on earnings and revenue, says supply chain issues, blah, blah, blah. But this is just the beginning. And this is also the beginning of my thought about Tesla, that with everything that they're doing currently and them launching their 2 new factories is going to be an incredible boost to the share price, in my personal opinion. And I'm going to show you in the price just shortly, so make sure to stick around till the end, how price increased after their last announcement of the new factory, and it's absolutely incredible. So yeah, there is a lot to actually consider here. So their earnings that they've been reporting right now has been just blown out of proportion. I mean, their earnings are incredible, and I think that this is the time when the Tesla is going to start to consolidate soon. At some point, it's going to find the bottom, and we're going to see a very quick retracement. And I think it still is, even though the interest rates will be rising during 2022, of course, and some of the stocks in the whole S&P 500 and the United States stock market and is definitely going to correct. But the question is Tesla going to suffer as much from it as well? And I don't think so, but we're gonna get into that shortly. What is important though is this graph right here, which is debt to equity history and analysis. Now, which is, as you can see right here, since 2000, the whole time basically, Tesla had more debt as a company than equity. And here, again, only in 2020, so about a year ago or so, they finally had this crossover, and right now it's just going in this infinite progression, is spreading, that the debt is reducing dramatically and the equity is growing. And remember, what does this mean? This means that Tesla has a lot of money to spend, and knowing Elon Musk, he doesn't really care about all the riches anymore, supposedly. So all of that money is not going to be going into his mega mansions and Roman Abramovich style yachts. Rather, it's going to be going into development and into conquering the world, which is, a part of my thought process when I'm going to be getting into Tesla right now. So this graph right here is incredibly important, and so is the balance sheet. Obviously, you can see the equity versus the debt here. Now, certainly we have to mention that Tesla doesn't pay dividends, but when we're talking about the potential or the upside of 300%, do we really care about 2-3% per year in dividends? I don't care about that. So, okay, now let's move right through this, because again, I don't really think that this is very important. This is not important here either. Board members, blah, blah, blah. Yes, Elon Musk was forced to liquidate some of his options there and here and there, so that's also not that very important. Ownership breakdown, shareholders, not important. Here, this is what's important, and that is, you can see the pretty much linear increase in the number of employees in Tesla. And right now, in by December 31st, 2020, they had 71,000 employees, and this number is gonna be increasing steadily. So in my personal opinion, with the 2 new factories that are gonna be coming out and launching very soon, I think that this number is gonna keep growing and the company is gonna keep developing. But most importantly, and let's move to the chart and talk about the technicals here for a brief while. So this is a daily chart. Let's go to the weekly chart and take a look at a very important time, which is actually this one right here, what I wanted to show you. This area right here in 2020 is when Tesla launched its factory. It's one of its new factories back in 2020. So this has propelled Tesla from about $200 to an absolutely incredible 1,200. So I mean, you do the math, right? So and right now it's going to be launching 2 brand new factories. So this is just illogical common sense that this is going to be an incredible outcome for Tesla, especially that the debt is reducing. They have a lot of more money to invest into their development, and they have 2 new factories to actually meet the demand. So this is something that, and by the way, if you want to learn how to do all of this, anything from active trading, scalp trading, day trading, swing trading, as well as long-term investing and portfolio building for yourself, there is a link down in the description to my fully accredited and certified trading education, which is considered to be one of the best pieces of trading education in the world. If you want to learn how to do all of this yourself, analyze the market fundamentally and technically, and risk and money management and trading psychology, all of that, then there is a link down in the description and a special 20% discount for my YouTube subscribers. So, and as of right now, when we're looking at it, we certainly see this huge sell-off that, you know, Elon Musk was selling a lot of the stock. He had to pay the tax. So now he was forced to liquidate a lot of his stocks. And so basically in this area right here, we also see this tech sell-off. So we had this NASDAQ sold off in general, and I mean the high tech is selling off, and certainly it has propelled Tesla of going down, even though everybody has expected a very fast retracement of going upward just because of the earnings reports. And therefore, I decided to actually take a closer look at Tesla and see what's going on, and form my kind of my own strategy when it comes to investing. So as of right now, I just bought about $10,000 worth of Tesla, and I think I'm going to be buying in total about up to $50,000 worth of Tesla stock this year, whenever we just simply using averaging out strategy. I'm going to tell you exactly at which price points I'm going to be interested in adding to my Tesla holding. And as of right now, if we just use a very simple, very simplistic technical analysis, then we have this support line right here, which actually has been quite important since the beginning, pretty much beginning of this huge rally. Then we had incredible support here, and right now we are breaking it. So if this weekly candle closes below it, which it might not, actually it might bounce back, and then we can actually see the up move, which is also possible. But I do think that it probably is going to correct for a little bit more, in my personal opinion. So the question is, if we're going to close below it, where is going to be our price target? So for that, let's briefly take a look at volume profile and try to understand where do we have volume. So as of right now, this is probably is going to be obviously the place of a lot of volume right here. So I think that the worst case scenario for Tesla would be, in my personal humble opinion, would be around $500, $550. So we can just briefly do it like this. So about this point from right now, so this drop right here could be potentially the worst case scenario for Tesla after it moves up. And if we actually break below, that's when I'm gonna really, that's where I'm gonna be going all in into Tesla, because I mean we're gonna talk about the reasons why that is, in my personal opinion. And if we're going to take a look at other volume, then obviously the biggest amount of volume is going to be standing around $200. And again, this is the time when this previous factory has been launched. So a lot of volume is going to be standing here. But are we going to get to $200? I mean, mark my words, 99.9% chance that we are never going to see this kind of a correction. I mean, this is simply impossible. So that's why for me, the worst case scenario is going to be around $500. At the very, I mean, it's fair value according to all the fundamentals. So I think that this is absolutely worst case scenario. Again, we can turn around at any given moment. As long as we close this weekly candle below this support here, then our target could be around 500, and this is going to be the zone of my accumulation. So I'll definitely buy some more at 700. I'll buy somewhere at 650, 600, 550, and then 500. So this is gonna be my accumulation zone for sure. And the lower it goes, the more I buy. So this is the logic so that I get the best average price. But this is not it. Let's also take a look at, for example, let's toggle off the volume profile, and let's take a look at something that is, in my personal opinion, also really important. Let's, for the time being, remove this support here, and let's take a look at the EMA ribbon, which in my personal opinion, and there are fireworks in Dubai, always, every day there's fireworks in the marina here. It's incredible. I love Dubai. It's always a paradise, and it's always a freaking show. Now let's take a look at the EMA ribbon, and right here we can see that the EMA ribbon has always been a very important support for us. So we see that back in, again, right here, when the factory actually launched, we had resist, so we barely broke below the EMA ribbon. Then here, basically in 2021, it served as an incredible resistance right here and also right here, and now we are really going fast through it. And the question is whether, again, this weekly chart, are we gonna actually close below the EMA ribbon, so below 700, and let's take a look precisely, it's $788 or not. So this is something that something to pay attention to, because Tesla hasn't been below the EMA ribbon since the launch of its previous factory, and now we are launching 2 more factories. So that's why I think that this is a very good time to start accumulating Tesla. Also, let's take a look at the moving averages. So the EMA for 100 days, no, not this one, in the daily chart. So the EMA for 100 days, MA regular moving average for 100 days, and also, Jesus, there's like a war going on outside, Jesus, Lord Christ. And also a moving average for 200 days. And as we can see, this has been an incredible support for us as well. So let's go back historically again to the same point in after the launch of the factory right here. We had a lot of resistance in this area. However, the point of the turnaround was actually the last one, so the 200 day moving average. Let's move into the future here. Then also the same thing we saw right here. So we were fighting these, the yellow and the blue line. We finally broke below, but actually found a lot of, again, support in the 200 day moving average. So I think that this is very important as well. And then finally we moved above, and here we did see some kind of a resistance from the yellow and the blue lines, and now finally we are at the red one, which is the 200-week moving average. So if we're gonna break below, this is going to be only a huge discount, in my personal opinion. So seeing it go down would be an incredible opportunity to accumulate in this region that I just mentioned. So the next thing that I wanted to show you is the Fibonacci golden pocket. Again, I don't really like Fibonacci that very much, but nonetheless, let's take a look at what it looks like. Let's, I think, go to the weekly chart. Let's make it a bit bigger, and let's take a look at what it's gonna tell us. So from the maximum, let's go to this minimum. As you can see right here, this is very interesting. So so right now we are actually in this golden pocket. So this golden pocket actually could serve as a very interesting support for us right now as well. And you know, if you've been following me, subscribe to my YouTube channel for a while, then you know what the golden pocket is. So could be quite interesting as well. So this point at which we are right now, it might seem expensive, and again, in comparison to its fair value in terms of all the fundamentals, all the traditional fundamentals, could be quite expensive still. That's why I'm saying that if it's going to go lower, the best accumulation zone would be anywhere from $500 to $700. But again, if we're gonna bounce soon, then this is something that you can start doing already. And also, I think it's important for us to measure the actual correction. So this correction that we had right here was about 40%, which we had in 2021. And this one that we are having right now, if we're going to be considering that all these corrections are plus or minus the same size, then we're gonna see that currently we are at 36% of a correction. So if we're gonna be expecting a 40% correction, then again, it's not really much lower. And if we're gonna be accumulating at this area that I mentioned, it's gonna be accumulation at about 50% discount. And that's why I'm thinking that it's a really good time to start buying into Tesla step by step and bit by bit. Because Tesla in general, let me just dive into my thought process here and why do I think that Tesla is so incredible. You know, I'm not really that techy, I'm not a tech geek, but I don't understand how certain things work like autopilots and how this future of the auto industry, what it's supposed to look like in the next 10 years. So, in my personal opinion, the reason why Tesla has done so well and why it's actually, you know, even fundamentally overvalued is because of people believing in it. And there isn't just, you know, Elon Musk behind it. I mean, Tesla is disrupting 12 industries, and the amount of new things that it can bring to the world is absolutely incredible. At some point within 5 years, maybe even sooner, their autopilot system is going to be capable of operating in a city without a driver. So that's going to be a fully autonomous, for example, taxis. Can you imagine what's going to happen to the share price of Tesla if it's going to be able to actually introduce in certain cities within a certain amount of years fully autonomous taxis? You know, the most expensive aspect of any cab is the driver, you know, the actual workforce that actually drives the car. And when you take that out of the equation, the actual cost of an Uber, for example, is going to drop. So it's going to be a complete revolution, not just in the taxi world, but in general. And Tesla, if you compare to all the manufacturers like Mercedes and BMW, Toyota, they're all, you know, lagging. You know, they still are with their diesel and the petrol. Well, they're kind of thinking about electrical and all this, you know, autonomous driving. But in reality, Tesla is going so fast that they're, you know, increasing that gap day by day. And it's going to be really difficult for all the big ones like GM and Ford and all of these old dinosaurs to actually keep up. And it seems like Tesla right now is like an iPhone. You know, when the iPhone came out, things like BlackBerry and Nokia, it just went to trash. You know, it's just the same thing is going to happen to GM and Ford and etc. So unless they adapt, but with the rate at which they're adapting right now, I think that Tesla is going to have an upper hand, to say the least. So that means that Tesla could potentially, with the rate at which it's developing, and it's accelerating in its development of not just the cars themselves, but the technology and what's backing up the whole concept. So they could be taking up to, I don't know, like 50% of the global auto industry. And with all the things that Elon Musk is creating, it's absolutely incredible. So with this in mind, what is the price target for Tesla? I mean, as of right now, I'm thinking that $1,200 is absolutely a fair deal in terms of the 10-year potential, 5 to 10 year potential from today. I think that this discount right here is an incredible time to get it, to start getting in. So if we're gonna take a look at the upward potential just in general, then in my personal humble opinion, I'm thinking that something in the vicinity of $3,000 would be something completely reasonable within a certain amount of time, let's say within the next 5 years. So this return is going to be absolutely incredible. And by the year of, I don't know, 2030, I would not be surprised with everything accelerating at such a rapid rate that Tesla could get up to, I don't know, $10,000 per stock. Which, if you think about it, with the current price of $800 or $600 is a bargain. So that's why I think that, I mean, I have a lot of money in the crypto space, a lot of it, a big portion of my net worth. But I'm thinking that I should still give Tesla a chance and put in at least around $50,000 overall into it for a long-term hold. So this is something that absolutely is going to have a lot of relevance in the future and the time to come. But of course, a lot of people are going to say in the comments, and by the way, do let me know that in the comments what you think about Tesla, or there are better companies to purchase that have even better growth potential in conquering the world. But I think that even if we're going to see some kind of bearish market here for a little bit, this is going to be a very short-lived one, because right now, for sure, 2022 we could be going into the recession, and everything is looking so bad, and the markets are going to crash, and we are going to see a lot of interest rate increases this year by the Fed for sure. Okay, yes, I know, I agree, and certainly it's going to beat the price down, or it's going to at least hold it back from just going to the moon for sure. I agree with you, but still, I don't really believe that because of the tech sell-off that Tesla is going to keep dropping down to, I don't know, a region of $200. I simply don't believe in it. I believe in the bounce within the next few months in the upward direction more than any kind of a bigger correction past this volume standing at this area right here. So yeah, do let me know what you think down in the comments, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Please do like the video. I'm really trying to make as many of these as possible, as jam-packed as possible, and do let me know all your thoughts down in the comments. Thank you for watching. Stay rich and stay smart. Cheerio.